Got my king-size bed sheet here. I'm gonna make 2 classic white long sleeve button-up shirts. So straight to work. And I'm making this shirt in the way where the front button pleat is directly connected to the shirt itself. So I'm adding in that amount here. And I'm using my fancy new shears that are cutting ever so nicely. Whew. At the back here, I'm adding in extra for the pleat. That's going to be in the middle. But also, I found in general that this pattern I've evolved for myself over the years is just a touch thin on the shoulders. So I'm adding in 3/8 on top of that. Then I'm going to taper down to the normal shape. Finally, a little bit of interfacing, and I am ready to get started. Doing the pleat in the back here first. Come on. Line up nicely. I called it a pleat before, but the thing in the front is actually a placket. This is the pleat. And then stitch the yoke on to complete the back piece. Of course, I'm doing 2 at a time, right? So grab the next one, double up the operation. Getting the front panel, the placket ready, lying down the interfacing. Fold over and press. There we go. And now, one more time for the final fold. And then, when it's the right way around, look at that, no seam. Of course, there's another 3 of these to do for a total of 4. Connect the front panels to the back. Roll everything up. So, flip around, and then always the fun part of taking the sausages out, and I use the term fun loosely. Ah! That's what happens when you leave needles in, huh? Jesus, same one again? All right. Moving on to the collar, and first I'm measuring out the neck hole. With the collars, I do like to trim the interfacing out first. So that's the bottom bit of the collar. Go ahead and trim these bits out. Lay them down, press them onto the fabric. Make sure to give them all ample room. Now I realize white on white isn't exactly visible, so you're just gonna have to trust me that that I'm doing this right, you know? Now that is only half the pieces I need for the collar. I of course need to duplicate the ones that I just put the interfacing on for the other side. I learned how to do collar stay pockets a couple weeks ago, so I'm definitely putting them on this shirt as well. There to there. All right. Let's put that underneath, right like that. Now take this piece with the pocket stay thingy-majiggy and then lay the one that has interfacing on top of it. Stitch these together. Now attach the top and bottom collar pieces together. I always store my rulers and shears and pins and things on this desk next to the sewing machine, but space is starting to get a bit limited. The plants are growing quite a bit. Never to be forgotten step of pressing everything out. Now the scary bit of does it fit? So let me first pin it on here, pin it on the other. It seems to be a bit big. I mean, a bit small. How did I? It seems to be too small. 8.5 gives you 8.25 gives you 16.5, right? I mean, the collar's too small. How do I keep messing this up? Pause. Hold on a sec. Give me a minute here, editing corner. All right, give us a quick interlude. I don't know. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I can confirm. I made my collars too small. Luckily, I don't have to remake the whole collar, just this bottom strip. So editing corn, once again, give me a minute here. Maybe charge the battery on that camera. Yeah? So good news, I remade the bottom pieces and I tried them and quite nice. New issue. Look at that gap in the collar. That's massive. I can't be having a gap of that magnitude. That's like way far. But I should have known. Yeah, of course I gotta remake the top part if I make them wider. I gotta. You know what? Let's shut this down for tonight. Shut it down. I'm frustrated. So cooler heads are prevailing, and I did some thinking last night, and I think I figured out where I went wrong. I was measuring the neck by walking around on the inside like this, and it was giving me a total of about 8.25, which makes for about 16.5 for the neck. What I should be doing is walking it out like this, and that suddenly gets me to about 17.5. I then measured the neck on these two shirts that I've made, which I both like the fit of, and the magic number seems to be about 17.125, 17.25 in that range. And so just gently, I'm gonna taper in 1/8 of an inch on either side with the placket. Do the same thing on the other side. 17.125. Wonderful. Now trim out some new pieces, which I have double measured, of course. Starting off with the interfacing. Now trim the collars out of the fabric. Prep the collar stay pockets again. Those are going to go right there like that. A lot of angles, I tell you. Sew the whole top of the collar together. Now connecting the bottom and top pieces together. All right, this is the big test. Have I actually got it right now? So first, pin it on the one side, on the other side, roughly in the middle right there. Whew! All right. Wonderful, it fits. Slow and steady wins the race. Feel for the other side. Yeah, okay. All right, all done. My collars. Overlap like that. There we go. That's a much better amount for the overlap. Oh, so that's where I'm going to leave the shirts for this week. But before I finish off, one last thing that I've started doing, which I find quite helpful, is I'm going to add to my little ongoing list of lessons learned while I sew. Make the neck hole 17 1/8 of an inch, including the placket overlap. Now I know what size I'm cutting it out. I can create a standardized pattern for myself, and fingers crossed, collars become a little bit easier.